The morning sun shone through the tall windows of the Galactic Embassy on Earth. Ambassador Ji-Hai Choi sat at her desk, reading reports from across the galaxy. To anyone watching, she looked like a normal diplomat doing normal work. But Ji-Hai knew secrets that could change everything. Her fingers moved across the datapad, showing Earth's latest trade reports to the Galactic Confederation. The numbers were carefully made to look small and weak. Earth exported basic metals and simple foods. They imported advanced technology that any real spacefaring world should already have. The galaxy saw Earth as a backward planet that barely knew how to travel between stars. This was exactly what Earth wanted them to think. A soft beep came from her private communication device. Ji-Hai touched a hidden button under her desk. The walls of her office shimmered for a moment, then returned to normal. Now the room was protected from any listening devices. "Admiral Park," she said quietly into the small device. "Ambassador," came the reply. Admiral Tae-Jin Park's voice was calm and steady. "We have a situation. The Vorthon Empire is moving." Ji-Hai felt her heart beat faster, but her face stayed calm. She had trained for years to hide her emotions. "What kind of movement?" "Their scout ships have been watching our outer colonies. They think we're easy targets. Our sources say they're planning something big." Ji-Hai looked out her window at the busy streets of New Geneva. People walked around, going about their daily lives. They had no idea that their world might soon be in danger. Most humans didn't even know that Earth had a real military. They thought the small patrol ships they sometimes saw were all that protected them. "How long do we have?" she asked. "Hard to say. Maybe a few weeks. Maybe less. The Vorthons are proud. When they decide to attack someone, they don't wait long." Ji-Hai closed her eyes for a moment. The Vorthon Empire had destroyed 17 worlds in the last 50 years. They were known across the galaxy as brutal conquerors who showed no mercy. Most species feared them. The few who didn't were either too far away to worry or too strong to be easy targets. Earth was supposed to be an easy target. "I'll need to keep playing my part," Ji-Hai said. "If they contact me with demands, I have to act scared and helpless. Can you do that?" Ji-Hai almost smiled. "Admiral, I've been acting helpless for 5 years. The entire galaxy thinks humans are weak and stupid. I can handle a few more weeks." After ending the call, Ji-Hai walked to her window again. Far above, she could see the tiny dots of the orbital trade stations. To visiting aliens, they looked like simple cargo-handling platforms. But Ji-Hai knew the truth. Hidden inside those innocent-looking stations were some of the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. The deception had started almost 300 years ago. When humans first developed faster-than-light travel, they made a smart choice. Instead of announcing their arrival to the galaxy with big fleets and bold claims, they watched and learned. Human ships explored in secret, using technology that other species couldn't detect. What humans found was not encouraging. The galaxy was full of aggressive empires that conquered weaker species. Peaceful worlds lived in constant fear. The strong took whatever they wanted from the weak. It was a harsh universe where showing strength too early could make you a target for everyone else. So Earth developed a different plan. They would appear weak while secretly becoming strong. Very strong. On the moon Luna, Dr. So-Ra Kim was working late in her laboratory. The sign on the door said, "Agricultural Research Station." Inside, Dr. Kim was testing weapons that could destroy entire star systems. She had been working on quantum disruptor technology for 10 years. The Galactic Confederation thought humans were still trying to figure out basic energy weapons. They had no idea that humans had learned to break reality itself. Dr. Kim called her assistant, researcher Hyun-Ki Nam. "The test results are ready." Dr. Kim looked at the data on her screen. The new quantum torpedoes could punch holes through dimensions. When they hit a target, they didn't just destroy it. They made it stop existing completely. The energy release was so clean that it left almost no trace. "Perfect," she said quietly. "Admiral Park will be pleased." 3 levels below the Luna Research Station, Captain Haiyan-Woo Lee was inspecting his ship. The Silent Thunder looked like a large asteroid from the outside. Its surface was rough and covered with fake mineral deposits. Scanners would read it as just another space rock floating near the moon. Inside, it was the most advanced warship ever built. The Silent Thunder could travel through folded space, appearing anywhere in the galaxy in seconds. Its weapons could destroy a city-sized target from 1,000,000 kilometers away. Its armor was made from materials that didn't technically exist in normal space. Captain Lee had commanded the Silent Thunder for 3 years. In that time, he had watched over human colonies, protected Earth's secret operations, and made sure no alien species got too curious about human activities. His ship had never been detected, even when it passed right next to alien warships. "Captain," called Lieutenant Juwan Park from the navigation station. "We're receiving new orders from Earth Command." Captain Lee read the message on his private screen. The words were simple but serious. "Vorthan Empire threat confirmed. Activate Protocol 7. Prepare for possible war." Protocol 7 meant that all of Earth's hidden fleets should get ready for battle. Across the galaxy, ships disguised as asteroids, trade vessels, and research stations would soon be ready to fight. The Vorthans had no idea what they were about to face. Back on Earth, Admiral Tae-Jin Park stood in the command center of the Deep Space Defense Network. The room looked like it belonged in a science fiction movie. Holographic displays showed the positions of every human ship in the galaxy. There were thousands of them, all hidden, all ready. "Sir," called Commander Yujin Lee from her station, "all fleet commanders have confirmed Protocol 7 activation. We'll be ready in 72 hours. Admiral Park nodded. For 3 centuries, humanity had prepared for this moment. They had built weapons the galaxy had never seen. They had learned the weaknesses of every major species. They had placed observers everywhere and gathered information that no one else possessed. The Vorthans thought they were about to conquer a helpless world. Instead, they were about to discover that the galaxy's most dangerous predator had been hiding in plain sight all along. Admiral Park looked at the display showing Earth. His beautiful, blue homeworld looked so peaceful from space. Soon that peace might be tested. But Earth was ready. Humanity was ready. The galaxy was about to learn what humans could really do. War Master Gorvak stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Death's Herald. Around him, 3,000 Vorthan warships moved through space in perfect formation. Each ship was a weapon of destruction that had helped the Vorthan Empire conquer 17 star systems. Today they would add Earth to that list. "Report," Gorvak commanded, his voice deep and threatening. "All ships ready, War Master," replied his second-in-command, Colonel Thurak. "Our scouts confirm that the humans have no significant defenses. A few patrol ships, some orbital platforms. Nothing that can stop us." Gorvak's 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction. The Vorthans were a warrior species. They lived for conquest and battle. Taking weak worlds was almost too easy, but it was necessary to expand their empire. Earth would fall in hours, maybe less. "What about their technology?" Gorvak asked. "Primitive fusion drives, basic energy weapons, simple metal hulls." "War Master, their largest ship is smaller than our escort vessels. This will be easier than conquering the Rillan colonies." Gorvak remembered the Rillan colonies. Those people had fought bravely but uselessly against Vorthan might. Their ships had been destroyed, their worlds conquered, their people made into slaves. The humans would meet the same fate. What Gorvak didn't know was that every movement of his fleet was being watched. Captain Dong-Hyun Kang floated in the darkness between stars, watching the Vorthan armada through sensors that existed outside normal space. His ship, the Ghostwalker, was invisible to every known type of detection. It had been following the Vorthan fleet for 3 days, recording everything. "Captain," whispered Communications Officer Haijin Yu, "we're getting detailed scans of their entire fleet. Ship types, weapon systems, shield frequencies, everything." Captain Dong-Hyun nodded. The Ghostwalker was equipped with scanning technology that could see through any known defense. The Vorthans had no secrets from human eyes. Their ships, their weapons, even their battle plans were all being recorded and sent back to Earth. "What's their estimated firepower?" he asked. "Enough to destroy a small moon," replied Weapons Officer Min Ho Jang. "But their targeting systems are primitive. They rely on brute force, not precision." Captain Dong-Hyun almost felt sorry for the Vorthans. They thought they were bringing overwhelming force against a helpless enemy. They had no idea that they were walking into a trap that had been 300 years in the making. "Send the data to Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them the enemy is exactly as predicted. Arrogant, confident, and completely unprepared for what we really are." Back on Earth, the data from the Ghostwalker appeared on screens in the Deep Space Command Center. Admiral Tae-Jin Park studied the Vorthan formation with experienced eyes. "They're using the hammer formation," he told his staff. "Designed to overwhelm fixed defenses with concentrated firepower. It worked against every species they've conquered before." "It won't work against us," said Colonel Mijin Bey. the leader of Earth's Special Operations Division. Their formation assumes the enemy will try to meet them head-on. We're not going to do that. Admiral Park smiled grimly. No, we're not. Order all hidden fleets to Phase 1 positions. It's time to show the galaxy what real warfare looks like. Across the galaxy, the order went out through quantum-entangled communications that traveled faster than light itself. Human ships that had been disguised as asteroids for decades began to power up their real systems. Trade vessels shed their fake cargo containers to reveal advanced weapons. Research stations opened hidden hangar bays containing fighter squadrons. On the mining station Sigma-7, which orbited a distant star, Commander Sungmin Cho received his orders. For 5 years, his installation had appeared to be a simple ore processing facility. Alien ships had passed by regularly, never suspecting that Sigma-7 was actually a military shipyard. All hands, this is the commander, Sungmin announced over the station's communication system. Operation Broken Mask is now active. Reveal the fleet. The asteroid field around Sigma-7 began to change. What had looked like floating rocks started to unfold like metal flowers. Hidden inside each asteroid was a human warship, waiting for this moment. Within minutes, a fleet of 200 vessels appeared, where there had been only empty space before. This scene was repeated in dozens of star systems across the galaxy. The human military had been hiding in plain sight for centuries, and now it was time to reveal the truth. Minister Jae Sung Lim sat in his office on Earth, watching reports come in from around the galaxy. As the head of Earth's Strategic Deception Bureau, he had spent his entire career making sure the galaxy saw humans as weak and harmless. His agents had spread false information, hidden advanced technology, and made Earth appear far less capable than it really was. "Sir," called his assistant, Intelligence Officer Yoon Young Kim, "all sleeper agents have confirmed activation. We have eyes and ears in every major alien government." Minister Lim nodded. Human agents had been placed in alien societies decades ago. Some had even been born on alien worlds, raised to appear as loyal citizens while secretly serving Earth. The network of spies and informants was so complete that humans often knew about alien government decisions before the aliens themselves did. "What about our Vorthon contacts?" he asked. "Agent Seo-jin is still in position on the Vorthon homeworld. She reports that the High Command expects total victory within 6 hours of reaching Earth. They've already planned their victory celebration." Minister Lim almost laughed. The Vorthons were so confident that they had planned a party before the battle even started. They would be very disappointed. Meanwhile, the Vorthon fleet continued its approach to the Sol system. War Master Gorvak stood confidently on his bridge, watching the stars grow larger as his ships moved closer to Earth. His warriors were eager for battle. Some of them had never fought against such a weak enemy before. "War Master," called Navigation Officer Vextar, "we will reach the human home system in 6 hours." "Excellent," Gorvak replied. "Send a message to the humans. Tell them they have one chance to surrender. If they refuse, we will destroy everything." The message was sent through standard galactic communication channels. It reached Earth within minutes and was immediately forwarded to Ambassador Ji-hai Choi. She read the Vorthon ultimatum with careful attention, making sure her response would be perfect. The message was simple and threatening. "Surrender your world and your people will become servants of the Vorthon Empire. Refuse and every human will die. You have 1 hour to decide." Ji-hai composed her reply carefully. She needed to sound frightened and desperate, like a representative of a weak species facing certain doom. "Great War Master Gorvak," she wrote, "we are a peaceful people. We have no weapons that could stand against your mighty fleet. Please, show mercy. Give us time to evacuate our civilians. We beg you to spare our world." The message was perfect. It made humans sound exactly like all the other weak species the Vorthons had conquered, afraid, helpless, and ready to surrender. Ji-hai sent the message and then activated her secure communication device. "Admiral Park," she said quietly, "the bait is taken. Gorvak thinks we're terrified." "Perfect," came the reply. "How long until they arrive?" 5 hours, maybe less. They're moving fast, probably hoping to catch us before we can run away." Admiral Park's voice was calm and confident. "Let them come. In 5 hours, the Vorthon Empire will learn the most important lesson in galactic history. Never mistake patience for weakness." As the Vorthon fleet raced toward Earth, Captain Dong Hyun continued to shadow them with the Ghostwalker. His sensors picked up excited communications between Vorthon ships. The warriors were discussing how they would divide up Earth's resources after their victory. Some argued about which continents they would claim as personal territory. "They really think this will be easy," observed Lieutenant Na Young Seo. Captain Dong Hyun watched the enemy fleet on his displays. 3,000 ships, each one a powerful warship by galactic standards. Any normal species would be doomed facing such a force. But humans weren't a normal species. 5 hours, he said quietly. In 5 hours, they're going to discover that the galaxy's most dangerous predator has been pretending to be prey. The Vorthon fleet entered the Sol system like a wave of destruction. 3,000 warships moved in perfect formation, their weapons charged and ready. War Master Gorvak stood on his bridge, looking at the peaceful blue world that would soon belong to his empire. "Scan the system," he ordered. "Show me what pathetic defenses these humans have prepared." The sensor reports came back exactly as expected. A few small patrol ships moved slowly around Earth's orbit. Some basic defense platforms floated near the major space stations. The largest human vessel was barely the size of a Vorthon escort ship. "War Master," called Tactical Officer Krelvax, "I count 12 human ships total. Their combined firepower is less than a single one of our destroyers." Gorvak laughed, a sound like grinding metal. 12 ships? The Rillans gave us a better fight with their fishing boats. This is insulting." What Gorvak didn't see were the tiny distortions in space around his fleet. Reality itself was bending in ways that Vorthon sensors couldn't detect. Hidden in dimensions that existed between normal space, the real human fleet was taking position. Admiral Sang-wook Yoon commanded the first strike fleet from his flagship, the Eternal Vigilance. His ship existed in folded space, invisible to every known form of detection. Around him, 500 human dreadnoughts waited for the signal to attack. "All ships report ready." "Admiral," announced Communications Officer Bo Ram. "The enemy has taken the bait completely, Admiral." Sang-wook watched the Vorthon formation, through sensors that could see across multiple dimensions. The aliens had arranged themselves perfectly for the kind of battle they always fought. Mass formation, overwhelming firepower, straight-ahead assault. It had worked against every species they had ever conquered. It would not work today. "Signal all fleet commanders," the Admiral ordered. "Operation Broken Mask, Phase 2. Show them what humans really are." The order went out instantly through quantum communications. Across the Sol system, reality began to tear. War Master Gorvak was preparing to give the order to attack when his sensor officer suddenly screamed, "War Master! Space is breaking!" Gorvak spun around to look at the displays. Across the entire system, massive tears were opening in space itself. The tears were perfectly black, darker than the deepest void, and from each tear something impossible was emerging. "By the gods of war," whispered Colonel Thurak. "What are those things?" Human dreadnoughts poured out of folded space like ancient monsters awakening from a dream. Each ship was 3 times larger than the biggest Vorthon vessel. Their hulls were made from materials that seemed to absorb light itself. Strange energy patterns moved across their surfaces like living things. "Impossible," Gorvak gasped. "Where did they come from?" "Our scout said the humans had no fleet." But the ships kept coming. Hundreds of them, appearing from nowhere, taking positions all around the Vorthon formation. In seconds, the Vorthons found themselves surrounded by a force they couldn't understand. Captain Ye Jin Song piloted her fighter bomber Void Reaper through the chaos. Her ship was small compared to the massive dreadnoughts, but it was equipped with technology that made it almost untouchable. The Void Reaper could phase in and out of normal space, appearing long enough to attack and then vanishing before the enemy could respond. "Gold Squadron, this is Gold Leader," she called to her pilots. "Remember, these aliens think in 3 dimensions. Show them what 4th-dimensional warfare really means." Her squadron of 20 fighters spread out across space, each one flickering in and out of reality. To the Vorthons, it looked like ghost ships were attacking them from impossible angles. Commander Wu Jin-ha stood on the bridge of his battlecruiser Iron Mountain. His ship specialized in gravitational warfare, using technology that could twist space itself into a weapon. "Target the enemy flagship," he ordered. "Prepare a gravity lance." The Iron Mountain's main weapon charged with power that came from captured black holes. When it fired, space itself would stretch and compress, creating forces that could tear apart any known material. War Master Gorvak watched in horror as his mighty fleet suddenly seemed small and helpless. The human ships moved in ways that shouldn't be possible. Some seemed to be in multiple places at once. Others appeared to be firing through solid objects, their weapons somehow bypassing shields and armor completely. "All ships attack," he screamed. "Destroy them!" The Vorthan fleet opened fire with everything they had. Thousands of energy beams and missile salvos streaked toward the human ships. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The human vessels didn't even try to dodge. The Vorthan weapons simply passed through them as if they weren't there. "What kind of sorcery is this?" demanded Colonel Thurak. Lieutenant Dayun Shin monitored communications from her station aboard the Eternal Vigilance. Her job was to coordinate the multi-dimensional assault, making sure that human ships attacking from different phases of reality didn't accidentally hit each other. "Admiral," she reported, "enemy weapons are having zero effect. Their technology can't even detect our ships when we're phase shifted." Admiral Sangwook nodded grimly. "Then let's show them what our weapons can do. All ships, you are free to engage." The human fleet opened fire. Nothing in the galaxy had prepared the Vorthans for what happened next. Human weapons didn't just destroy enemy ships, they seemed to erase them from existence. Quantum disruptors tore holes in reality itself, making Vorthan vessels simply stop being. Gravitational cannons created miniature black holes that swallowed entire squadrons. Void missiles traveled through parallel dimensions, bypassing every defense to strike their targets from inside. War Master Gorvak watched his proud fleet die in ways that his mind couldn't understand. Ships didn't explode when hit by human weapons. They just vanished, leaving behind empty space where mighty warships had been seconds before. "Tactical report," he demanded. "War Master," stammered Tactical Officer Krelvax, "we've lost 300 ships in the first minute. Our weapons can't hit them. Their weapons ignore our shields. I don't understand how this is possible." Captain Yejin led her fighter squadron in a dance of destruction through the Vorthan formation. Her ships appeared and disappeared like deadly phantoms, each attack destroying an enemy vessel before vanishing again. "This is too easy," she told her pilots. "These aliens still think war is about flying in straight lines and shooting at what you can see." The Vorthan fleet was falling apart. Ships tried to retreat, but human vessels appeared in front of them no matter which direction they went. Some Vorthan captains attempted to ram the human ships, only to have their vessels pass harmlessly through targets that existed in different phases of space. Commander Wu Jin watched his gravitational weapons tear through enemy formations like paper. The Iron Mountain's gravity lances created distortions in space that crushed multiple Vorthan ships at once, folding them into impossibly small points of compressed matter. "Sir," called his weapons officer, "enemy flagship is trying to escape." "Not today," Commander Wu Jin replied. "Target their engines. Minimum power. We want them alive to send a message." The gravity lance fired at its lowest setting, but even that was more than enough. The Death's Herald's engines were crushed into twisted metal, leaving Gorvak's flagship dead in space. War Master Gorvak found himself trapped on a powerless ship, watching his empire's greatest fleet being systematically destroyed by an enemy that shouldn't exist. His proud warriors, veterans of 17 conquests, were helpless against technology they couldn't even see properly. "Open a channel to the human fleet," he ordered, his voice hollow with defeat. The response came immediately. Admiral Sangwook's face appeared on Gorvak's screen, calm and professional. "War Master Gorvak," the human said politely, "I believe you wish to discuss our surrender?" Gorvak stared at the human admiral. Around them the battle continued. Vorthan ships disappeared one by one, erased by weapons that violated every law of physics Gorvak understood. "What are you?" he whispered. Admiral Sangwook's expression didn't change. "We are what happens when you mistake patience for weakness, War Master. Your empire chose to threaten peaceful worlds. Today you learn the price of that choice." As if to emphasize his words, another 100 Vorthan ships simply vanished from existence, their quantum signatures wiped clean by human weapons. War Master Gorvak, conqueror of 17 star systems, bowed his head in defeat. For the first time in Vorthan history, their greatest fleet had not just been defeated. It had been utterly destroyed by an enemy they had thought was helpless prey. The galaxy would never be the same. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. The Vorthan Empire's greatest fleet, 3,000 ships strong, had been completely destroyed in less than 2 hours. Even more shocking was what had destroyed them: the humans, who everyone thought were a weak and primitive species. Grand Admiral Seung-Ho Kwan stood in the main communication center on Earth, preparing to address the entire galaxy. For 300 years, humanity had hidden its true nature. Today, that deception would end forever. All galactic communication networks are standing by. Admiral reported, Communications Officer Tae-Hoon Park, every major species will receive this broadcast. Admiral Sung-Ho looked at the camera that would carry his words to billions of beings across thousands of worlds. What he said next would change galactic civilization forever. People of the galaxy, he began, his voice calm and clear. I am Grand Admiral Sung-Ho Kwan of the Earth Defense Forces. Today, many of you witnessed the destruction of the Vorthan invasion fleet. You saw ships vanish in ways you cannot explain. You saw weapons that ignore the laws of physics as you understand them. You have questions. I will provide answers. On the Altarian homeworld, Chancellor Vixtal watched the broadcast with growing amazement. The Altarians were one of the galaxy's most advanced species, masters of energy technology and quantum mechanics. But what they had seen the humans do was beyond their understanding. Impossible, whispered Chief Scientist Morden. Those weapons? They're manipulating space-time itself. We've only theorized about such technology. Dr. Yunbi Park appeared on screens across the galaxy, standing in what looked like a simple laboratory. Behind her, complex equations floated in holographic displays. To most viewers, the math looked like gibberish. To the galaxy's greatest scientists, it was revolutionary. For 3 centuries, Dr. Yunbi explained, humanity has been developing what we call dimensional science. While other species fought wars in 3-dimensional space, we learned to fold reality itself. Our ships exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Our weapons attack through parallel universes. What you saw today was not magic. It was physics applied at a level your civilizations have not yet reached. The broadcast showed images of human technology that had been hidden for generations. Massive shipyards that existed in pocket dimensions, invisible to any scanner. Weapons that could rewrite the fundamental forces of nature. Ships that traveled not just faster than light, but outside of space-time entirely. Captain Young-Soo Kim commanded the Deep Space Monitoring Network from a station that officially didn't exist. His job was to watch every major civilization in the galaxy and make sure none of them became a threat to peaceful worlds. Sir, called Monitoring Officer So-Young Lee, we're detecting emergency sessions in every major government. The Kronar Assembly has called their first full meeting in 50 years. The Zealoth Confederation is demanding answers from their intelligence services. Captain Young-Soo nodded. They're all asking the same question. How did we hide this from them for so long? The answer was more shocking than the technology itself. General Haiwan Young appeared on the galactic broadcast, her expression serious but not threatening. The galaxy believes this is the first time humanity has revealed its military power, she said. This is incorrect. We have been using our technology to protect peaceful worlds for decades. What you called system failures that prevented successful invasions were our interventions. Natural disasters that destroyed aggressive fleets were our weapons. Fortunate coincidences that saved worlds from conquest were our operations. The implications hit the galaxy like a shockwave. Across thousands of worlds, governments suddenly realized that their recent history was not what they thought it was. On the Kronar homeworld, War Leader Thaktos stared at tactical displays showing the last 50 years of Kronar military operations. Battle after battle, his forces had failed to conquer worlds they should have easily taken. Equipment failures, navigation errors, ships lost to space storms that appeared from nowhere. It was them, he whispered. The humans were stopping us all along. War Leader called his intelligence chief. Our analysis shows at least 30 major operations that failed due to unexplained phenomena. If the humans were responsible, Thaktos felt fear for the first time in his life. The Kronar were a warrior species who prided themselves on strength and conquest. They had thought themselves among the galaxy's most powerful militaries. Now they realized they had been kept in check by a species they considered primitive. The broadcast continued with Admiral Sung-Ho revealing the true scope of human operations. Hidden bases in every major star system, spy networks that had operated for generations, technology that made their ships invisible not just to sensors but to reality itself. We have been the galaxy's silent guardians, he explained. When the Zealoth Confederation planned to invade the peaceful harmonic worlds, we made sure their fleet experienced engine failures. When the Vorthan Empire sought to enslave the gentlefolk of Kepler 442, We created navigation errors that sent their ships into empty space. When pirates threatened trade routes, we arranged accidents that eliminated the threat. The galaxy reeled as the truth became clear. Dozens of aggressive species suddenly understood why their expansion had been so difficult. Hundreds of peaceful worlds realized they had been protected by guardians they never knew existed. On the gentlefolk homeworld, Elder Soft Song felt tears of gratitude fall down her furry cheeks. Her people were pacifists who had never developed military technology. They had always wondered why aggressive species seemed to lose interest in conquering their world whenever they got close. "The humans protected us," she said to her council. "They have been watching over us for generations, asking nothing in return." Back on Earth, the broadcast reached its climax as Admiral Shung Ho addressed the galaxy's future. "Today marks the end of the old galactic order," he declared. "No longer will strong species prey upon the weak. No longer will peaceful worlds live in fear of conquest. Humanity's technology gives us the power to enforce a new kind of peace." Images appeared showing human fleets emerging from hidden dimensions all across the galaxy. Ships that dwarfed the largest alien vessels took position near every major world. The message was clear. The galaxy was now under human protection. "To those species that choose peace and cooperation," Admiral Sung Ho continued, "we offer friendship and aid. Our technology can help you reach new heights of civilization. Our knowledge can solve problems you thought impossible. To those who choose conquest and oppression," his voice became harder, "you now face a choice. Change your ways or face the consequences. The age of galactic bullies is over." The broadcast ended with a simple but powerful image. Earth, the small blue world that the galaxy had dismissed as primitive, surrounded by a fleet that could remake reality itself. Across the galaxy, government's emergency sessions stretched through the night. The Vorthan Empire's surviving leaders met in bunkers, trying to understand how their greatest fleet had been destroyed so easily. Aggressive species suddenly found their military plans looking very different when faced with an enemy that could attack from other dimensions. Peaceful worlds celebrated quietly, finally free from the fear that had haunted them for generations. The harmonic world sent a simple message to Earth: "Thank you for watching over us. How may we help build this new galaxy?" Dr. Yunbi worked through the night, preparing educational broadcasts that would share human scientific knowledge with species ready to use it peacefully. Technologies that could heal damaged worlds, provide unlimited clean energy, and allow travel between distant galaxies. General Haiwan met with military leaders from across human space, planning the transition from hidden guardian to open protector. It would not be easy. Some species would resist. Others would try to steal human technology. But humanity was ready for those challenges. War Master Gorvak sat in a detention cell on a human ship, staring at walls made from materials that shouldn't exist. His empire was broken, his fleet destroyed, his reputation ruined. But he was alive, and that meant something. A human officer, Commander Jin Woo Yoon, came to speak with him. "Your people have a choice," the human said calmly. "The Vorthan Empire can continue to exist, but not as conquerors. Help us build a peaceful galaxy, and your species will have a place in it." Gorvak looked at the human with new respect. "You could have killed us all. Why show mercy?" Commander Jin Woo's expression was kind but firm. "Because mercy is how civilizations grow beyond war. Your people are strong and brave. The galaxy needs those qualities, but directed toward building rather than destroying." As the night ended and day began on worlds across the galaxy, a new age was dawning. The age of human guardianship, where technology served peace and strength protected the innocent. The galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after the Battle of Seoul, President In-suk Lee stood before the largest gathering in galactic history. Representatives from over 2,000 species filled the Great Assembly Hall on the neutral world of Harmony Station. The meeting would decide the future of the galaxy. "Friends," she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber, "we are here to build something that has never existed before. A galaxy where peace is not just hoped for, but guaranteed." The changes had begun immediately after humanity revealed itself. Species that had lived in fear for generations suddenly found themselves protected by guardians, more powerful than their worst nightmares. Aggressive empires discovered that their fleets could no longer operate freely. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted completely. Ambassador Subin Han worked tirelessly with representatives from hundreds of worlds. negotiating the new Galactic Peace Accords. The agreements were unlike anything in galactic history. Instead of temporary treaties between equals, these were permanent protections enforced by a species that could reshape reality itself. The basic principle is simple, she explained to a group of planetary governors. Any species that attacks peaceful worlds will face immediate intervention from Earth's fleets. Any world that chooses peace will receive our protection and assistance. The harmonic worlds had been among the first to sign the new accords. Their representative, harmony singer Melody of Stars, spoke for many peaceful species when she addressed the assembly. For 1,000 years, my people have hidden from aggressive neighbors, she said, her musical voice carrying across the hall. We have seen our colonies destroyed, our people enslaved, our culture nearly erased. Today we can finally live without fear. The humans ask nothing from us except that we remain peaceful. In return, they offer protection that makes war impossible. Not every species was happy with the new order. The Kronar Assembly had lost their ability to expand through conquest. Their war leader Thaktos spoke angrily to the gathering. You ask us to abandon our way of life, he declared. The Kronar are warriors. We have conquered for 10,000 years. Now you tell us we must become, what, farmers? Traders? Admiral Kyung-min Choi, now commander of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, responded calmly. You can remain warriors, war leader, but fight for justice instead of conquest. Protect the innocent instead of destroying them. Channel your strength toward building something greater than any empire. The Admiral's words carried weight because everyone had seen what human warriors could do. The Vorthan fleet, once the galaxy's most feared military force, had been destroyed in hours. No species wanted to face the same fate. Some had tried to steal human technology through espionage or trade negotiations. All such attempts failed completely. Human science was so far beyond galactic understanding that even their basic principles were incomprehensible to most species. Dr. Yunbi led a team of scientists working to share safe versions of human technology, simple fusion reactors that could power entire worlds, medical devices that could heal injuries thought permanent, agricultural tools that could make any planet fertile. We cannot give you our weapons, she explained to a gathering of alien scientists. Your civilizations are not ready for dimensional warfare, but we can share technologies that will improve billions of lives. The gentlefolk had been among the first to receive this aid. Their homeworld, once struggling with limited resources, now flourished with clean energy and advanced medicine. Elder Softsong had become one of humanity's strongest supporters. The humans could have revealed themselves as conquerors, she told the assembly. Instead, they chose to be healers and protectors. They proved that true strength comes from lifting others up, not tearing them down. Captain Ho Seong-yu commanded the diplomatic vessel New Horizon, which traveled throughout the galaxy, establishing the new order. His ship was a marvel of human technology, capable of reaching any world in days and serving as a mobile embassy for the peace accords. Captain, called his cultural officer, researcher Min Seo-jung, we're receiving a priority message from the Zealoth Confederation. They're requesting membership in the peace accords. The Zealoth had been one of the more aggressive species, known for absorbing smaller civilizations into their confederation, whether they wanted to join or not. Their request for peaceful membership marked a major victory for the new galactic order. Set course for Zealoth Prime, Captain Ho Seong ordered. It's time to welcome another species to the peaceful galaxy. The transformation wasn't always smooth. Some species struggled to adapt to a universe where strength didn't automatically mean the right to rule. The Corvan hegemony had attempted to continue their aggressive expansion, only to have their entire fleet vanish when they attacked a protected world. The Corvan survivors found themselves facing Admiral Kyung-min on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Peace. The massive human vessel existed partially outside normal space, making it appear ghostly and ethereal to alien eyes. Your people have a choice, the Admiral told Corvan Fleet Master Drakion. Abandon aggression and join the peaceful galaxy, or face the same fate as the Vorthans. Drakion, looking at the empty space where his fleet had been moments before, made the only rational choice. We choose peace. The results spoke for themselves. Trade flourished as merchant ships no longer needed armed escorts. Scientific cooperation increased as species shared knowledge without fear of military disadvantage. Art and culture bloomed as civilizations could focus on creation rather than destruction. President In-suk watched the changes with satisfaction from her office on Earth. Reports flowed in daily showing the galaxy's transformation. Refugee populations returning to their homeworlds. Former warrior species learning to build instead of destroy. Peaceful worlds expanding their civilizations without fear. Madam President called her Chief of Staff, Director Ji Young Seo. The final vote is in. The Galactic Peace Accords have been ratified by 97% of represented species. It was an unprecedented achievement. Never before had so many different civilizations agreed on anything, let alone a complete reorganization of galactic society. The few species that refused to sign the accords found themselves isolated but not destroyed. Human policy was clear. Peaceful non-participation was acceptable, but any act of aggression would bring immediate consequences. War Master Gorvak had become an unlikely ally in the transformation. After months of imprisonment and education, he understood what humanity offered. The former Vorthon commander now worked with human peacekeepers, helping to rehabilitate his own species. "My people were wrong," he told a gathering of former Vorthon warriors. "We thought strength meant the ability to destroy. The humans have shown us that true strength means the ability to protect and build. We can still be warriors, but warriors for peace." The Vorthon rehabilitation program became a model for other aggressive species. Former conquerors learned to use their military skills for construction, exploration, and protection of peaceful worlds. Many found the new purpose more fulfilling than endless war. As the first year of the new galactic order came to an end, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet, maintaining the peace they had created. With great power came great responsibility, and Earth's leaders understood that their role as galactic guardians would last for generations. Captain Dong Hyun, still commanding the Ghostwalker, patrolled the galaxy's far edges where new threats might emerge. His ship and thousands like it maintained the watch that kept the peace possible. "Scan complete," reported his sensor officer. "All systems peaceful. No signs of military buildup or aggressive preparation." It was a report he gave almost daily now, but it never lost its meaning. Each peaceful day was a victory for the new galaxy humanity had helped create. Ambassador Su Bin worked on establishing permanent institutions for the new order. The Galactic Peace Council would handle disputes between species. The Shared Knowledge Initiative would distribute beneficial technology. The Protection Fleet would ensure that peaceful worlds remained safe forever. "We're not just changing how the galaxy works," she told her staff. "We're changing what the galaxy believes is possible." On worlds across the galaxy, children grew up in a universe where war between species was becoming history. They learned that differences could be resolved through cooperation rather than conquest. They saw the stars not as sources of threat, but as destinations for peaceful exploration. The transformation was not complete. It might take generations to fully establish the new order. Some species still struggled with the change from conquest to cooperation. Others worked to develop their own dimensional technology, though human scientists ensured such research remained peaceful. But the foundation was solid. The galaxy had learned that true civilization meant protecting the weak rather than exploiting them. The humans had not just revealed superior technology, they had demonstrated superior values. President Insuk stood on the observation deck of Earth's orbital headquarters, looking out at the stars. Somewhere among those points of light, human ships kept watch over trillions of beings. Former enemies worked alongside former victims to build something better than any empire. "Director Seo," she said quietly, "send a message to all human fleets. Tell them they have succeeded beyond our greatest hopes.